No, I've talked with pygmies in Australia. They're not dumb at all. I've talked with with animus all over all the cultures. They're not dumb at all. But see, their mind is in a cage. I do say that. But it's not over IQ. It's not a discussion that Whitey's more intelligent. No, 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 no. The brightest people in the world are in Asia. I hate them. I don't like them. Their GPAs. In your world, you see the youngsters go to school without whining. 5 days a week, 10 hours a day in Japan. Try that out on students. 5 days a week, 10 hours a day. There would be an insurrection. There'd be another revolution. Now, in this context, what happens when people have had enough up to here? You had in this background of another century, we've had the Industrial Revolution, but we had the French Revolution. And I mentioned, you already know that. The Tale of Two Cities. Well, that was about the revolution in England and the revolution in France. The best is the best of times and the worst of times. The French Revolution was a rebellion against, really, the Catholic Church, and specifically the elite of the Catholic Church that came into being to answer the reformers, and that is Jesuits. There are other orders, but the Jesuits, see, are so intelligent. I don't like them at all. No. But anyway, they came into being to answer Protestant Reformation. See, what brought the Protestant Reformation? When the Catholic Church was selling indulgence to do what? You know that. Raise funds to get the staph infection and a $20 million plant so the Brotherhood will know your success. Well, that's pure pragmatism. You can be successful. The mafia is successful. Hitler for a little while was successful. A lot of things are successful a little while. But anyway, the Protestant Reformation, protestari, these people were Roman Catholics. They originally, in the text, had no intention of doing what? Breaking from the Catholic Church. They were interested only in social and spiritual reformation in the church. Always reforming. This is the Latin euphemism of the reformers. Always reforming. Well, what was wrong with the Catholic Church? Well, it was immoral. But if sacerdotal, you know what sacerdotalism is for? Mention that. Sacerdotalism is the Catholic theology that all of grace is disseminated to validly ordained priests from the womb to the tomb. So we take care of everything from birth to death in sacerdotalism to a validly ordained priest from Peter, the first pope. But anyway, sacerdotalism is classical Roman Catholic theology up through Vatican I, and Vatican II starts rebelling against that. But sacerdotalism says the priest. Now notice the conflict we have in America and in Europe. It's been going on a long time. What's been a moral issue in the Catholic Church today? And I want to make a statement not about that, not to report. Well, yes. That's not false, so thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Well, what else? Well, if there's no sexual norms, what do you mean by sexual misconduct? Now, you see, what does the Catholic Church do with them? Now, the chief spokesman at the, I think it was a funeral, some pope had a funeral a week or so ago. Chief spokesman was a renegade Catholic cardinal that did what in America? Well, no, he didn't rebuke. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you people being here. It moves things along. But anyway, the Catholic Church, the reason he's not big time, the Catholic Church does not want to publicly affirm his behavior without doing what? Condemning it. Well, what does this have to do with Protestant Reformation? Calvin, all these people, Luther had a learned doctorate and had never read Romans. I told him to stay out of it. he lectured on the Roman, and his Roman commentary is not even a good commentary. Moses Lard's commentary is better on the Romans than Luther's, but Moses Lard didn't create a revolution, because that was a direct attack on the structure of the Roman Catholic Church. You mean these brilliant Catholics had never read the Bible? Well, if sacerdotalism is the case, authority is not contingent on what? You never had Catholic biblical scholarship till Vatican II, Vatican I and Vatican II. Then some of the finest commentaries ever written have been written in the past 25, 30 years by Roman Catholic scholarship. But they never had any need to do that, because the Catholic Church had what? No competition. They had all the questions they would allow, and they had all the answers that anybody could want. So why do you... But all these things are imploding. You had First Vatican that made a decision when the Pope speaks ex cathedra. Now, the Catholic Church does not say that the Pope is infallible. You know that. You have to be fair. I think Christians should be as honest as anybody. When the Pope is infallible, he speaks ex cathedra from the chair after the College of Cardinals have examined the material. When he makes a statement, then that ex cathedra. But everything that he says and writes is not. They would never did claim that that's infallible. So Vatican II was answered. Vatican I was answered Protestant Reformation, nationalism. Vatican I in 1860-64. You remember that? Some of you were here. You remember that? What was going on in America, to put that in context? Huh? You got this, we got war here, but they didn't know the First Vatican Council was going on. So that's how alert they were. Really. But they were having a fight, and 600,000 people lie dead at Gettysburg. Well, anyway, the Catholic Church, two things that was in the culture, mainly Europe, they made pontifical statements about two things. Do you know what they were?
Darwin?
Well, Darwin's influence, 1859, Darwin's influence will come very soon, but not then. 1859, most hadn't read it, and he's English anyway, so we're not paying too much attention. He's dumb English. Pantheism, Hegelian pantheism. Any idealistic system is pantheism. See, idealism is that ideas alone are real, and the internal consistency of ideas is Hegel's response to Kant. But idealism is pantheism. Now, it can be internally consistent without what? Being true. Thank you very much. Oh my, all this help. Thank you for bringing me here, these brothers here. This is quite helpful. Being true. Because Hegelian idealism, his phenomenology, cannot do physics, cannot do chemistry. These are the things that are going to ask the questions. Church is no longer the source of the questions, nor the answers. See, you have to know what the question is before you can give an answer. See, I have a list of answers over here, but what's the question? Well, right over here, the Catholic Church, from the Catholic, Western Catholic, you know, in 1054, the East and West were divided. Nothing you don't know. Maybe your youngest child at home might ask her about that. She might not know. Nor care. That'd be what would get to me. It does not caring. Not knowing is one thing, but not giving a hoot about it, it bothers me. Well, in this context, the Catholic Church is becoming institutionally immoral. It justifies immoral behavior. See, because if sacerdotalism in the papacy is correct, the church, sacerdotally, God's grace will be transmitted to a validly ordained priest or nun. We have none of that, you know that. And if that's true, then you don't need to worry about what? See, the Reformation, you got this, Reformation was preoccupied with justification.